this is going to be our 2014 Honda CR-V. This is all-wheel drive, black in color. Paint's in really good shape overall. The pinstripe's pretty faded over the time. Like, it's not really a thing they do anymore. Mine's got it on it too, and it's pretty faded. A lost art. Plastics are in pretty good shape. The lights have some oxidation on the front, a little bit of cracking. This low beam is out. Bumpers are in good shape. Newer tires, they were made in 2022, but they have really good tread left. Wheels have like no curbing really. I'm surprised by that. Sorry. On this side, it looks like it was keyed. Someone didn't commit until the back. Alright, sorry about that. My allergies get me into like this sneeze and then I cough and it's just a whole thing. Had a pretty good, so there's a light scratching here. These are deep scratches. You can catch your nail on them. You can even catch your finger on them. And then plastic has some scrapes here. Not terrible. I did talk about the inside here. This would probably be the only thing I would really get touched up right away just so it doesn't rust out. Some surface rust form in there. Rear bumper and everything looks really good. The rear backup camera, I don't know if that works or not because the screen won't fire up. So something there. It looks in good shape and everything, so just keep that in mind. Overall, not too bad. Alright, we're going to do a startup. We had a specific concern with the VTC. Now, I have a little sister that has one of these, same year, and hers is currently fighting a VTC issue. So just bear with my camera. I'm just going to set it flat here, and we're just going to listen together. Alright, so none of that rattle that I was telling you about. It's really loud, like a chain being dragged through your engine for a moment. And hers struggles to start. She has to give it fuel. So this thing fired right up even with remote start. You do hear like your fuel injectors firing off. That's what that's all these injectors firing off. Because they're right there. There's no dampening or anything there. And they're basically going straight into your block there. Brake fluid and transmission fluid, I would recommend getting serviced just to extend performance in life. The fluid is a bit over full, so it's just showing, you know, transmission fluid when it breaks down, it expands, so it just shows that it is broken down a bit. Discolored. It's supposed to be very, very vibrant pink with the Honda fluid. This is an electric power steering assist rack, or you would have a power steering pump right here and then fluid reservoir over here. You don't have to worry about any of that. Trust me, it'll make it easier if you ever have to replace that alternator. I had to do that on her car and it sucked. So back here, that's going to be your electric motor for your steering rack and exhaust, obviously, and then your cooling system and everything all looks good. Hoses all look good, and the belt when the car was off looked newer, so really good there. And battery was replaced end of last year. Car drove really well. It does have an eco mode, and you can turn that on and off to kind of contribute to performance, but overall it did really well. We're gonna stop here. Okay, doing the undercarriage portion, I use this little mirror to kind of help me get angles. I start from the front here, looking towards the back of the vehicle. This lets you see if anything's been hanging down, dragging, getting hit or scraped on the ground. All the plastics are in good shape, still present. No weird chin marks or anything. Here's gonna be like your trans on this side and oil pan on this side. All nice and dry. The plastics will usually be like wet looking and very stained shiny because oil saturates the plastics. That all looks really good though. I'm gonna go to the corners and just check out the lift points. So we are on the passenger front corner. See how your rubber for the shock, the dust boot there is kind of just in pieces and laying in there. It's really common. I see it on a lot of these. The rubber over time just kind of breaks and then it just falls off. It's not wet or anything, so like it's not like there's been a failure on the seal there. It's just the dust boot in there. The other side looks good, just this one side I noticed. Driver front corner here, so this is going to be your lift point, not bent over or folded. And then this is going to be technically the frame, so the body here. And then over here is going to be your subframe mounts. All in really good shape, no rust, no scrapes or anything like that. And plastic's all still in place. So driver's side on the rear, same thing with the lift point, really good shape. All the plastic's still here. This is going to be your fuel tank. This bar here is to kind of support it in case it doesn't get scraped or anything like that. Gonna look from the back now. So more plastics on the back. It just kind of keeps from air getting trapped under the car, makes it a little better on economy. Subframe's in really good shape. It's not rusted or chewed up. Your diff is right here, and then that long tube there is your center drive line, and your muffler, well, first muffler, second muffler, in really good shape. Axles and everything look really good. The boots aren't torn. So we'll keep moving through here. This is going to be your little tow hook. Kind of sticks out the bottom. That is attached directly to the floor pan, so take that with caution. All right, over here on the passenger rear lift point, same thing. Good shape, not folded or bent, and your plastics all still in good shape. This here on this jamb for the door, most likely a seatbelt got caught here or something. Let that focus. Did chip it off the paint, got a pretty good deep mark here. You can see you're getting some service rust. I would just scuff this out, get the rust out, and seal it, and just be done with it. It's outside the weather strip, so it is exposed to weather. All right, front corner on the passenger side. Sun's gonna fight us a little bit. You can see here that lift point in really good shape, not folded or bent, and the body here in good shape, no scrapes, no dings. And that's gonna be your cat, also really good. Doesn't look rusty or too bad. Like the exhaust is always kind of rusty because it gets so hot, so cold at night, but it's there and it's doing its job correctly. All right, so I always start here, sitting in the driver's seat, steering wheel. You do have phone controls, but this radio and screen unit is not working. I've shut the car on and off multiple times. Thought maybe it was something to do with the remote start. It does have a backup camera as well. That's part of that doesn't kick on. So that's not currently working. As long as that's not working, cruise control works. Radio controls do not work because that's not working. You do have your trip information, so you do have like mileages and economy and stuff like that on this. Oil life, current mileage 112,268 at the end of our drive. The little leaf on there is this button here. You can turn it on and off, and that is part of your variable valve system. So if that's on, it basically tries to keep your valves as least amount of open and close as it can to just keep it running without reducing what you're asking. Just not like power on demand. It does have the dual climate with auto. AC works really good, heat works really good, heated seats work really good. This was sitting in the sun, so I mean they were super hot to start with, but I turned them on while I was driving and it got hotter, so I'm gonna call that a win. And then like I said, this is part of not working. I did notice this like chrome here is chewed up, but everything still works. More plugins here as well as here, and then these do have storage bins underneath your cup holders. They're really cool. It does have the sunglass holder there, and also has a power sunroof. This also tilts, so we're gonna pause here, and just like magic, we're gonna look from the outside in. So door card's in really good shape on this. Auto window on just the driver. Power mirrors. You can set your tire pressure. So if you like it to be at a certain pressure and the car's kind of upset about it, you can set it. You just hold that. There's a whole process. You do have to release the fuel door, and then your hood releases under on this inside. And there is a crack here, so I'm not sure if that's a foot or just manhandled it. Pedals are all in good shape. More of those all-weather mats. And like I said, I don't know if these carpets have ever, or these mats have ever been taken off the carpet except to clean. Seats are in really good shape. I really just found this blemish here where it's starting to wear through the leather, and then just like the wrinkles that happens with leather over time. In the back here as well, Door card's in good shape. These seats don't seem like they were used too much. This one might have had like a car seat here for a while, maybe on both sides, just from like the pattern there. But not too bad. Seat backs are in really good shape. Another all-weather carpet. Headliner's not too bad. Like I was saying, in the back portion, just a couple stains here and there. Hop side. Passenger rear door card, really good shape. Seats here, good shape. Seat back, real good. Seals are all really good on this. There is a little bit of wind noise on the driver door, but I didn't see any damage to the seal. Seatbelts and everything, manual seat on this side, power only on that one side. I do love this dark gray trim. And then I did say this could use a new cabin filter. You just push this down and it comes off, and then you push in on the sides to release the tabs. And there's just a little pressure clip tab or panel there. Swap that out. It's got some leaves and stuff in it. It's a little bit smelly when the heat's on, but overall it looks good in here. It's going to be our trunk version, rear hatch, lift gate, cargo area, however you like to name it. It does have an electric switch, but it is a manual open and close. These have the all-weather mats, like the actual Honda ones. They've been there, look at that, their whole life. Always a good thing to see. Underneath does have a full height spare. They're not full size, just full height for the all-wheel drive. And then previous owner did leave a star bar, which is awesome, plus the tools and the jack all mounted. Floor is in good shape. Sealers all still there. No signs of liquids or anything left in there. Closes up just fine. These do have little handles here. You pull this and that seat will go down. Give it a second. Kind of does it slowly so you don't chop someone's head off up there. That is on both sides. And then you do have little cargo straps, but the net is not here. Overall, pretty good shape. There's a little bit of scuffs in these plastics. A little bit of like stain marks. And then some stuff on the headliner back here. But overall, not too bad. A little scuff here, right there. And then seals are in good shape. Boom, boom, boom. This portion is just going to be through the scan of the computer on the vehicle. No response is probably just like a different trim that has different requirements. They do have like hybrid versions, so keep that in mind. Overseas and whatnot. We did have one permanent code in the body here. It says that it had so the car ran a diagnosis. They tried to do a self-check and it resulted in either a fail or incomplete. Now, it's not active, it's permanent now. So, you know, Nissan has their own software, Honda has their own software, Jeep has their own software, and for permanent codes you have to have access to that software to clear. So our scanners, like from Snap-on and stuff like that, aren't typically going to be able to clear it. Sometimes we can, depending on the severity of the permanent, but just keep that in mind. It's not something that is actively affecting the vehicle. It happened at some point in its life and it's staying there for it. We're gonna go off to your monitors. Okay, so here we are on your monitors. You'll see we have one red X for the evap system and no scrollable pages. The red X for the evap, it's hard to say. Like, a lot of these cars are kept with like literally no fuel. If you look, we're pretty much almost on empty here. A little weird angle. There you can see we're pretty much on empty here. So what that is measuring your vapors in your fuel system, right? And so the more, or I guess the less fuel in the tank, the more vapors that are present. We do 10 miles plus on the drive. I try to set cruise at like a highway speed to let it just kind of regulate. With that being said, I didn't have any kind of typical evap issues. We didn't have any kind of sputtering at idle, no hard egg smells like the caps are getting plugged up or anything like that. No hard starts, anything along the lines that would cause me to worry about the evap. So we'll just stop here. We're going to keep moving through the inspection. Alright, we're going to do a quick recap here. I always try to make the car look a little alive here at the end. Except for that light out, I know. Car drives really good, really quiet, very smooth. These are really good on fuel, really reliable. You just got to make sure you keep up on the maintenance. That being said, transmission fluid could use some attention, brake fluid could use some attention. Overall, there are some scratches on the vehicle, really light ones. On this side here, it does have a deeper one that will need like actual attention. Buff and cut should take care of most of the rest. And then we do have an issue with the information, so radio area and the screen inside. None of that turns on, which affects the rear view or backup camera, as well as information, as well as music. Sunroof and everything works as intended. Has never had anything on the roof, no roof rails or anything. There was a main concern for the VTC. So what that is the cam at the end has a phaser, and it uses oil pressure to adjust that for the variable valves for your econ mode and just general driving. My little sister's car has that same problem, and it rattles like crazy when you first start it. Sometimes she even has to blip the throttle or it just cranks. This doesn't do any of that. This does have a remote start that works as intended. Fired right up, no problems, no noises, oil's nice and clean. So this solid little vehicle. Just that electrical thing to get solved and then some maintenance, and this would be a great daily.